located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon, I'm Orchid Solang, and this is your 1 o'clock news. Environment Canada has expanded its weather alerts for the province, warning of heavy rain and strong winds over the south and central of BC. Forecasters say downpours are to be expected today and throughout this weekend. Amazon is being penalized for failure to refund BC customer, accusing them of return abuse. A BC regulator has ordered Amazon to pay nearly $2,000 in fees and penalties after finding out that they had violated the BC Business and Practice Consumer Protection Act. Consumer Protection BC imposed the penalties in a decision issued last week. The decision stems from a complaint filed in October 2024 by a consumer whose name is redacted in the document. Metro Vancouver's youth is looking to go green, but in the middle of the affordability crisis, electric cars are not an option. Joining us live is our reporter Thomas Adams to talk about the affordability of EVs. How are you, Thomas?
Thank you, Orchid. As electric vehicles continue to gain attention from drivers, the misconception of unaffordability continues. At Volkswagen in Vancouver, staff say that prices are only continuing to drop on EVs and becoming a competitive option for affordability. Orchid?
And how will the market for EVs change in the future?
Car companies and dealerships are looking for ways to make electric cars more accessible for Gen Z buyers. In the coming years, new models of EVs will be introduced to Canada. This will provide more variety of prices for the vehicles suiting everyone's needs. Back to you.
Thanks, Thomas. That was our reporter Thomas Adams. Catch his story in our upcoming casts. Now, for national news, the Liberal government is looking to bring reverse honest to offences like vehicle thefts, extortion, organized retail theft, and break-and-enters. This would mean that an accused person would have to explain why they should be granted bail, instead of a prosecutor needing to provide justification. The change is part of a set of tougher bail and sentencing provisions introduced by the Justice Minister, Sean Fraser. This was in response to calls from police and premiers to address repeat offenders who are out on bail.
Though these individuals make up a small proportion of our population, they can, in some instances, represent a huge proportion of the criminal activity that we actually witness in our communities. This is eroding public trust in the justice system, and this new law will make it easier for courts to order the most high-volume offenders to be detained.
Conservative legislation doesn't go far enough because it won't remove the principle of restraint in placing people in custody. Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised the upcoming federal budget will spur unprecedented investment, but warns that sacrifices are in store. Mark Carney says Canada will have to do less of some of the things it wants to do in order to build more. But he stopped short of explaining what specifically will be reduced. Carney did say he plans to maintain supports to the most vulnerable people in society, from provincial health transfers to childcare support and dental coverage. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says Carney needs to commit to policies more supportive of oil and gas. The federal budget will be revealed on November 4th. In international news, dozens of current and former NBA players and coaches have been arrested in connection to a sports betting and poker fraud scheme. Joseph Nasella, interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of New York, says the defendants would lure victims into rigged poker games for a chance to play with sports celebrities.
The scheme targeted victims known as, quote, fish, who were often lured to participate in these rigged games by the chance to play alongside former professional athletes who were known as, quote, face.
Using sophisticated cheating technology. Trump has done a turnaround on sanctions against Russia, taking aim at Russia's two biggest oil companies and the billions of dollars they owe for Moscow's war against Ukraine. The European Union has also added more sanctions aimed at phasing out natural gas imports and tightening financial restrictions. Oil prices rose amid concerns that Russia would export less of its chief moneymaker. That was your 1 o'clock news update. I'm Orchid Solang, and thanks for tuning in.